everyone, it's Kimberly. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a few minutes. Make sure that you have all your supplies, maybe something good to drink because it's not a long class, but you might get thirsty. Who knows? But we will get ready in just a minute, and we'll get started on our Valentine's Heart Mug Rug. Okay, hi everyone. This is Kimberly from Kimberly's Fabric Stash, and hopefully you can hear me and you're all ready to go. We're going to make this fabulous, which I left over here, this fabulous heart, I got one right here, mug rug today, which is really great and cute and simple for beginners. So if you have all your supplies together, that's awesome. Make sure that you have your iron going and that you have good scissors and all those good things. Hopefully you guys downloaded the PDF pattern that I put out several times in the comments, and you can follow along, and we'll go ahead and get started. We do have a couple of products that we'll show you in class. You're not obligated to buy anything, but I'm going to show you some products, and if you decide that you want to get some of those, I will be putting up our comment sold sheets so that you can shop, and we will be offering a special discount at the end of today's class. And you can register to shop. If you're new with us, just register to shop by clicking register, and that will set you up with our comment sold website, and anything that you purchase will go into a cart, and it's super simple. And if you have any problems, questions, or concerns, definitely type to me and let me know. I am by myself during the week. Leah is here with me on Fridays during our live show. And if you are new with us, we do a live show every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Facebook. And I always put that up as an event, so you can always click going or interested, and that way when we go live on Fridays, you can see us go live. If you want to join our newsletter, on our Facebook page here on the left-hand side, it has my email. It says pitsewing@gmail.com. If you just click on that, that will send, and you type in the subject line, subscribe, we'll add you to our weekly newsletter. And during each week, we give you just different things that are going on, free patterns, new fabrics. We give you a yummy recipe because we all get tired of cooking boring things. So if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, definitely sign up for that. And again, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to flip cameras now. So I'll be off camera, but you're going to see me go over to our work area, and we'll go ahead and go through all the materials that we'll be using. And then we'll go ahead and get started making this really cute mug rug. So again, if you have any problems, comments, concerns, let me know, and I will be able to read comments as we go through. So I'm going to switch cameras now, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so you guys, let me check comments real quick. And hi from let me say hi to a few. Hi Donna. And hi to Patricia from Maryland, and Denise. I'm glad you're excited. This is a fun little project, super simple. You guys really, even if you don't have maybe some of the things I'm going to show you today, you can still do the project. Hello to Robin, and hello to Sandy from Connecticut. Wow, we have like everybody on the planet here. This is exciting. And make sure that you guys do share our class today. I will be giving away a little reward at the end to a share winner, so definitely click share. That way we get as many people watching. They might not be able to participate because they didn't know about the class. Definitely share today's event. And if you want to make sure that, let me think here, yeah, make sure you register, make sure you ask me questions, and my brother used templates to cut out our pieces with scissors, yes. Vicki is saying that her grandmother used templates to do log cabin, and some people still do that. There's a lot of different ways to do a log cabin block. This is just one way that I like, because it's not super fussy, and I'm not a super fussy kind of person. So, sound echoes. Okay. Is everybody total echoing? Yeah, oh, I know why. Hold on one second, guys. Let's get... Haha. Okay, that should have fixed the echoing. I had the microphone on my phone. That should have fixed the echoing. Are we still hearing echoing? Because you really shouldn't now. That was my fault. My problem. Yes, you're still hearing echoing, or yes, it fixed the problem. There is an echo. Need to fix your sound. Okay. Let me go back and lock that. And thanks for fixing the echo. Okay, so it is fixed. Echoes for me too. It's better. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, sometimes I forget to do things because I'm not a perfect human being. Thanks, Jeannie. I appreciate that. Jeannie, your package should be to you here shortly. It got sent out, I think, yesterday. So, Jeannie, you're getting your package. Echo is gone now. Thank you. I do apologize. It's just a thing. So, let's look at our materials that we're going to be using. And let me get a chair so that I can actually sit down to do this. And we always talk about proper everythings when we are quilting, and so one of the things that we want to make sure of is that we have our work area is conducive to basically our height, and you're not like hunched over. You should never really be hunched over anything when you're quilting or sewing. And you always want to have your shoulders relaxed and down, because it takes the stress tension away from your shoulders and all those things. So let's go through the materials we'll be using. And again, you might not have the same materials. That's okay. And we'll go ahead through. And yes, there's going to be access to the video in case you have to leave in the middle. The video will be up for days, and then we'll post it to YouTube even. So if you... our YouTube person, you can find us over on YouTube as well, at Kimberly's Fabric Stash. And if you subscribe, you can always go back over there. So it will be here on Facebook. We'll leave it up. And you can also grab it over on YouTube. So, so that way, there's some people that aren't Facebook users, and I understand that completely. That's why we're working on our app, so that you guys don't have to be on Facebook every time we do something. But right now, it seems that this is our platform that we're using. So today we're going to have a set of materials. So let's go through them together. On your project sheet, you will see that right here is our project sheet. This is a wonderful free project from Penny Haren, and Penny Haren made a lot of the patterns. She does a lot of patterns for creative grids. And when she was given the log cabin trim tools to deal with that were actually designed by G.N. Wright, she was able to make these great patterns. And then there's a book that she put together, and I will share with you the book later on. We'll take a little break, and that way we'll go through like some ideas here, because I have other things I want to share with you. But anyway, so she made this great little pattern, and I think that because it's easy and it has a real classic little design, it's a log cabin block, you guys should have really no issues putting this together. So basically what I have is my 6-inch log cabin trim tool. We'll be using that today. And I have my mini Stripology ruler from Gudrun Erla. And this is an amazing tool. We're going to use that in class today. I have my light value squares. I already pre-cut them. And then I have my dark value squares. It's Valentine's, so obviously I'm using hearts. Now, if you don't want to use hearts and you want to use something different, that's completely up to you. And then I have my piece of batting that it asks for. Now, I am using the fusible Quilter's Dream table runner batting, because one, it's thin, and two, it's fusible, because I like fusible. Fusible is like cool. And then of course I have my iron, and my real expensive high-end iron here from like big box store. Last class, if you were with me, you know, like I don't get all excited about $100 irons. I did draperies for 10 years and had expensive irons, and they were great, fine and well, but one commonality between irons is they get hot and they can press seams. And basically that's all you need it to do. We don't put any iron. I don't use a wet iron. I use a dry iron. There's no water in my iron. However, if you like to have, here, let me put up the pattern. Sorry guys, one second. If you guys, let me see if I can just like drag this in. If you guys like using water in your iron, make sure that it is distilled. Okay, so we got to figure out how to add your guys' pattern in here. So pattern, and I should be able to pin a pattern. Pattern, please. Yes, I'm working on getting the pattern in here because it was in the comments during the original post, and that's the JPEG. Now we're trying to figure out how to put the pattern back in. Okay, so basically, let me go over here. You guys might have to pop out of the room for real quick and get the pattern. I'm just going to create a post because apparently you guys are, I'm unable to drop a PDF into the class. Okay, when we commented on the class, when we were actually able to do the class here, that is the other class, there was a link for the pattern, and we're going around here. Let me see if I can comment. If you go through the comments for the class, it's in the comments. It's in there like several times. I know right now you're like, well, that doesn't help me, but honest to goodness, that is where the pattern lies. So let me hit copy and see if I can put it in this way. So yeah, let me see if we can do that, and that would have pinned the comment. Oh, that's just the link to the thing. That did not work. Okay. Well, all I can tell you is if you read through the comments at the beginning of the class here, the link is in there. Oh, wait. Let me hit it that way. Copy link. And do this. And that should put that up. Let's see what happens if we click. Well, I don't want to click out of that there. You might have to come out of the video and go into the actual link for the class to get the pattern, because right now I cannot put it up. So there, it's in the class, how to get the pattern. If somebody can figure out how to put the pattern in there for me, that would be great. So right now we're going to keep moving forward. So basically, yeah, if you go up, thank you, Carrie, you did it. Carrie's amazing. Woohoo to Carrie. Carrie is awesome. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. That way you guys can get the link. Where can I join your mailing list? If you just email me at pitsewing@gmail.com and type in the word in the comment, or like in the subject line, subscribe. Just type subscribe. I'll capture your email, and you can, that will put you onto my newsletter. Okay, so that is me. And so basically we have all our materials here, and I will try not to bang the table. Let me move it back over so I see what I'm doing. Yeah, irons are hot, and if you use water in your iron, make sure it's distilled water so it doesn't rust the inside of the iron and leave minerals and spew ugly things onto your fabric. Today I am using a 40 weight Mettler thread, 100% cotton from Mettler, and if you want to use a different size, that's completely up to you. I'm a Mettler fan. I like Mettler thread, and that's what we're using. I do have my 1/4 inch foot already on my machine, and I will share with you that this awesome little ruler, somebody asked me last class about this ruler, and I'm like, I don't know. Moda just keeps sending me like freebie things. So I actually found this yesterday, and I ordered 70 of them. So, no, I ordered 50 of them. And so basically I'll have these available, and they're like a couple bucks. They're not huge, but the cool thing is it has this like 1/4 inch seam thing on there. So what I do is to get my machine ready, and you can do this too with any ruler that you have that has a 1/4 inch line. Just stick your ruler under there and drop your needle, make sure it hits the 1/4 inch line, and you know you have a perfect 1/4 inch seam. I'm not doing skinny 1/4 inch seams. I'm just doing a regular 1/4 inch seam. The thread weight I have, 40 weight, is plenty, and it's just not necessary for me to do a skinny 1/4 inch seam. So that is how we're going to line up our machines. And basically, to get started, it has us take our light value fabric here. So in my case, this is our light value fabric, beautiful swirl that I have from Wilmington Scrolls. And I'm going to use my Stripology ruler because I really like my Stripology ruler. They're amazing. And we're going to cut our 3 1.5 inch strips, 1.5 inch by 10. So now last class, I didn't spend any time cutting during class because we had a lot of work to do in last class and I didn't want to take up that time. But this week, since this is just a smaller project and everything, I figured, well, you guys can watch me cut because why not? So I'm not going to measure off my cutting mat. I never measure off my cutting mat. Unless I absolutely have to. Cutting mats are flawed over time. They warp and all those kinds of things from multiple use, especially my cutting mat because we make like thousands of cuts a week in here. So we always measure off our ruler. So if you have a ruler, any type of ruler that you're using to do this cut right now, you're going to measure off the edge of the ruler. Don't measure off the cutting mat. Cutting mats are flawed, so don't do that. So we're going to do 3 1.5 inch strips. So I'm going to make sure I have this lined up. And can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see. And I don't like cutting live. It makes me nervous to cut live, but I don't know. It's just a thing with me. I like pre-cutting before because I am not one to read and cut and be live at the same time and talk to you, but we're going to make the best of it. And I did cut extra blocks just on the off chance that I screwed this up. So, all right, so there's our 3 1.5 inch by 10 strips. So you should have the same. And then they want a 4.5 by 6.5 inch rectangle. So we're going to cut the 4.5 first. And I love the mini Stripology ruler because it's perfect for doing small cuts. It's actually designed to use with pre-cuts. And Gudrun, who designed it, provides a lot of support for her rulers on her website. So if you like go, oh, hey, I think I really want that ruler or something to that effect, you aren't just like out there hanging in the wind like wondering, what the heck am I going to do with that ruler? We saw a lot of these because a lot of people work in pre-cuts. And it actually is very versatile because there's 2 different ways to use the ruler, and I won't go into that right now, but that's basically how that ruler works. And so I have our first set of strips cut. These are going to be the strips for the log cabin. If you aren't using the log cabin trim tool, there is a note from Penny saying that you're going to cut your strips 1.25 inch wide. I probably should have prefaced that, and I apologize. However, if you are using the log cabin trim tool because you bought it a long time ago maybe and you're like, oh hey, I never get to use this cool trim tool and today I get to. So you're going to use your regular 1.5 inch cut like the instructions say. So now we're going to cut 3 1.5 inch dark strips, and I really don't need to move that every time. Again, I don't like cutting live. It makes me nervous because I have like this high risk of not cutting it correctly, but hey, look, we did it. Okay, so yeah, I've taught like a ton of classes, but live on video is just always a thing with me. So okay, now we're going to cut another 4.5 inch by 6.5 inch rectangle. If you don't realize that, that's going to be our lobes to our heart. So that's why we have these bigger pieces. So I'm going to cut my 4.5 first while I'm talking. And then my 6.5. Make sure you guys are using rotary blades that are sharp. There is nothing worse than cutting material with a dull rotary blade, and you never want to be scissoring like back and forth on your material. If you are, you're doing a lot of damage to your project because you're stretching that material and causing a lot of frayed edges. So make sure that your blades are sharp, and blades are cheap. You can buy them like anywhere. Phyllis, you put registered and nothing happened. Phyllis pert. Okay, Phyllis, let me see. Because it probably would have sent off a message over to your messenger, Phyllis. And if you don't have your messenger up and running right now, sorry guys, we're just going to take a second here. Give you a chance to cut. Pert. P-E-A-R-T. Yep, I didn't see that. Okay. Everybody else registered. Well, Phyllis, did you type just the word register? Let's see. Just type the word register, and that's the only word you need to type. Try it again, and we'll see if we can do that. I think other people registered. Let me go up and check them, because we want to make sure this is working. Fix the problem. That is good. Margarita, there's only one R in register. Maybe that yours might not have gone because of it, but okay. So we're going to keep going here. So clicked on the link. Thank you. It worked using my phone. Okay. So try typing register, R-E-G-I-S-T-E-R, and we'll check it again. Okay, so, because I know I linked up to the account, so we should be okay. Alrighty, so at this point now we have to cut our center heart, so we have to bring back our dark here, and we're going to cut a 2-inch square. Again, I'm not measuring off of my cutting mat. That's the worst thing I could be doing right now. So I'm going to cut a 2-inch square, just like the instructions say. And for those of you that have maybe log cabin trim tools already, you will know that, or you should know, that each trim tool starts with a different size square. So we'll talk about that and I show you the other examples. But for our project right now, this is our 2-inch center square. And we have all our pieces now ready to go, which is easy. How cool is that? And I'm going to move my freezer paper out of the way. And this, and this, and this. I don't want to, and I'm going to pull this in closer to me. You might go, Kimberly, oh my gosh, you're on a wool mat and you're going to have heat on your cutting mat. There is a cardboard piece under my wool mat right now to protect my cutting surface. So if you are using a wool mat and you are on any type of surface that may bow, bend, or whatever from the heat, because the heat goes right through the wool cutting mat, make sure you protect that undersurface because you will end up warping your cutting mat. So, so make sure you note, Kimberly is using cardboard to protect her cutting mat. And that way I don't wreck my cutting mat, because you will. And it's just kind of one of those things. All right, so at this point, I have my 1/4-inch foot all ready to go. And I'm going to take my 2-inch block. And this is like the easiest thing to do in the world. I'm going to move my rotary blade so I don't cut myself. And I'm going to start with my, my light strip, as in the instructions. And you will follow along. This is step number 1. And basically what we do is we lay our strip down, and then we put our right sides together, because every piece of fabric has a right side and a wrong side. This is the right side. And I have the right side up on my white fabric, which you probably can't see right now, but I do. And then at this point, I'm going to sew that seam using that 1/4-inch seam. Okay, and I'm going to cut it. Now, I have, today, I have my storks. We talked in last class about having a small pair of scissors at the machine because we don't need 8-inch blades at the sewing machine. However, for class today, because we are going to be making a lot of cuts, I have my Haren K. Buckley awesome applique scissors here that I'm using. And I'm going to slightly trim that past this square, like it says. And I'm going to finger press that open. So basically all a finger press is where I'm just going to take my fingers and push down. And you will notice that I'm pushing away from the light. Now there's always this big rule about pressing away from the light and blah blah blah. Yeah, you should if you can, and there are instances where you can't, but in this case we can. And I'm going to press that away from the light, okay? And then at this point, I'm going to take my dark strip. I'm going to set this one off to the side because that's going to be used here in a minute, okay? And I'm going to take my dark strip, right? So I have my dark strip, and I'm going to lay that down, okay? Now, at this point, we're going to be working in a clockwise direction. So actually I need to trim this more. That edge should be nice and squared up. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it down so that this now is going to go, well, it should be like that. Okay. So we're going to lay that down. All right. And the seam is downward facing so that my machine doesn't have to fight against my seam. Okay. And we're going to sew that. Okay. Easy peasy. And I'm not going to use storks to trim that. It's just, they're too small of a blade. So at this point, I have the beginnings of my block. Now, let's talk about pressing this because we are going to press this. And again, I'm using a dry iron that I forgot to turn on. So we're going to wait for just a second for that to heat up. And because I want it on a cotton setting and I want it as hot as possible. Okay. And so I have my log cabin trim tool. And at this point, we're making what's called a half log cabin. There's like 3 different types of log cabin blocks. We're doing a half log cabin. So if you have the trim tool, you're going to find the square that's up here in this corner. See the pictures? This is the square that we're going to work on first. Whoops, right there, right there. Okay. And as soon as I heat press this, I will talk to you about that. I am going to hit it with a little best press. And last week's class, we talked a whole lot about best press and starch and sizing and all the differences between them. And I'm a best press kind of girl. I've used starch and sizing in lots of applications in the past. And this I find to be nice for quilting because it doesn't leave flakes and it doesn't stick. So that's what I'm using. So we're going to set the seams. And if you're not sure what that means because you might be new, setting a seam means that we're going to hit that seam we just sewed with the iron, with the hot iron. And what that does is it shrinks the thread so it matches the shrinkage in the fabric. And so we're going to hit that. And if you notice, I'm not ironing back and forth. We're not doing this. That's a big no-no. We're just pressing. Quilting is about pressing. Ironing is for clothing. If you are like ironing slacks, yeah, sure, go back and forth. That all has been handled at the factory. And then I'm going to press that seam away from the center. So the seam is now away from the center. Okay. And again, we're going to press that now that we've set all those. And this keeps things from stretching. Okay. So at this point, it looks really weird. Okay. Because it's like, why do we have such huge pieces? Just because we do. And I'm going to take this corner here and I'm going to set that down and line, I'm going to try and show this to you this way. We're going to line up that square with our corner square. Whoops, like that, okay? So notice that the square, I'm putting it right into that corner. All right, and we're going to trim. One thing about the Creative Grids trim tool is the fact that it has like these little gritty things on the back to keep the tool from sliding. And notice that, okay, we've trimmed that. We didn't touch this at all, all right? We don't want to touch that. That doesn't get touched until the very end. Okay, so we're going to keep going now. So at this point, yours should look like this. Hopefully it does. I got to scroll those comments down because I just realized like I'm like way up above you guys. Okay. You know what? I'm going to check to make sure that the registering is working. So give me 1 second. Yep, okay. Registering's working. We're in good shape. All right. Thank you for registering, by the way. I do appreciate that. And again, I will repeat, if you want to get a newsletter from me, just shoot me an email, pitsewing@gmail.com. Type in the subject line, subscribe, and I'll put you guys on my weekly newsletter. Okay, so at this point, we have our little block. How cute is that? Okay. So then we're going to take our next row, our next piece of white, and we're going to, again, lay that down, and we're going to lay the white against this edge. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to do this edge now. Sew that down. All right. Yeah, so every Tuesday we have a class, and like we're just working through basic projects, nothing fancy schmancy, because a lot of people are maybe new. I'm just going to trim them even, okay, pretty even there. A lot of people are new, and they're just getting started with this whole sewing thing. So the classes are designed for you know, newbies, I should say. Okay, you go over there. The next piece here. And so if you are trying to learn to quilt, this is probably a good beginner class. Yes, I'm using a tool. You don't have to run out and buy a tool, but it gives you the concept of how a log cabin block works. So we're going to put this down. And again, I just finger press that seam so that it's laying down nice and flat. We want all the seams to always lay flat. And okay, so I'm going to trim that, and then again we're going to set that with the iron. And you might think I say iron really weird. I probably do sound weird. I'm not from Western Pennsylvania. I'm from outside of Philadelphia, hence we have a different kind of accent. All right, so I'm going to set that seam, and we're going to hit that with the iron. I know that I hear lots of accents when I talk on the phone to many of you guys. I have talked to people in Massachusetts and North Dakota and Texas, and we all sound a little differently. How cool is that? So, all right, so we're pressing that in. At this point, is everybody okay? I guess you guys are okay. All right, it looks like you're okay. Okay, so now we have this, and now we're going to trim. So now this is the second round, okay, and it even says round 2. So we're going to place that square for round 2 against our original square, and then we're going to trim. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. All right, so we're going to take our little rotary cutter with our sharp blade, and we're going to line this all up. Now, there are little lines on the trim tool. Let me move this up. Okay, there are lines right here to make sure that one, you not only is your block straight, your square is straight, but then that your seam lines are straight. So we're going to do that. I'm going to move that machine out of the way. I'm going to do that. Okay, and hence now we have another round. Okay, so we're just going to keep repeating this over and over several times. Let's see here. She says that you're going to be using rows 1 and 6 are pieced together, 2 and 5. Okay, so we're going to take a new strip, because there's a thing here that she has in the directions about using the strips so that you don't have to cut more strips. So we're just kind of following along. So I'm going to take, again, and lay that strip here, and then I'm going to put my white side down. Right? Now, this way of doing this log cabin block by Penny, I will say, and I will explain this to you later on, how fast this can be when you're actually doing multiple blocks. Notice right here I have all this strip left. If I had a regular 44-inch long strip and I had to make, I don't know, 6 of these, the process of streamlining, which I talked about last week when we do like, or you're doing like piecing that is, you know, you do a whole bunch of steps in one fell swoop, and then you do a whole bunch of other steps. It's like factory kind of thing. When you do log cabin blocks, by her method, you can knock out so many log cabin blocks so fast. And unlike the traditional method where you have to do, you pre-cut like every single, this is why I never do log cabin blocks without the trim tool, because I'm not going to sit and cut 150 1.5 by 2, 1.5 by 4. I'm not going to do that. That is not me. That is not how I want to sit and quilt. If that's for you, that's cool. And I have like no qualms, because I have many friends that sit and make log cabin blocks that way. However, this method is faster, especially if you're going to try and do maybe a lap size log cabin quilt, where you need, 56 blocks, whatever. And then you're sitting there like, wow, 56 blocks, and I have to sit and cut every small increment for around the center. No, that's just, like I said, it's just not for me. So, all right, so we have that sewn. We're gonna set our seams, and yeah. So this method, and it's like a strip piecing method. That was what I was trying to say earlier, but you know, that's just me trying to like sew at the same time and talk and not burn my hands and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys are following along and this is making sense to you. I'm really trying to always encourage success, so I don't want to turn you off from quilting. That is like the last thing we want people to do, is be turned off. So this is how it is now. Now we're going to trim, and this will be our 1, 2, third round. So again, I'm going to find the third round here, and we're going to put that down. And you will notice that this is a very, let me move them out of the way, very fast process. Once you get going on it and the concept of what you're once you get going on it and you actually put the squares where it's supposed to be. Okay, this is why we can't talk and like sew and quilt at the same time. All right, here we go. Round 3 in the proper space. Helps if you put it in the right direction. So the square should be down and all that. Okay, bits go over there. We should do the Eleanor Burns throw them over our shoulder thing with the bits. That would be hilarious. Okay, so now we're going to go to round 4. And okay, you go over there. I don't like trash in my work area. It drives me bonkers. All right, so round 4 was the same as round 3 and 4 logs are the remaining. Okay, so we need, this one goes to here. Yes. And again, we're going to lay this down right side up. So again, if I had this long strip and I was making like 10 of these, I'd be putting them all down along that strip and strip piecing those blocks. And that is something that Penny talks about in the book that I am going to share with you at the end, how the strip piecing thing works. Because prior to her explaining it that way, when I would do 12-inch log cabin blocks with a jelly roll, I was just doing one block at a time. And then I picked up the book and realized that, hey, there's a way to strip piece this. How cool is that? And, you know, you're doing multiple blocks in minutes. Now, that being said, if you're not comfortable strip piecing, which not everybody is, and I understand that, you literally, though, can do a 12-inch log cabin block in like 7 minutes. And I know this because I actually did it as a challenge at a guild meeting one year. I had a jelly roll, the log cabin trim tool, and the sewing machine. And I went go, and I literally started with the center square and made a 12-inch log cabin block in 7 minutes. So, not that I'm like Miss Speedy Gonzalez sewer over here. I took my time and I pressed everything and I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. However, the point to the story is that the trim tool makes putting these blocks together go really fast. So that's my big story about doing the 12-inch log cabin. I will show you samples of this because I did show you I did do other samples for you guys to see all the different sizes that you can make. Okay. All right. So again, I'm going to set that seam. And this might seem tedious today because it's the first time maybe you've done. What the heck did I just do? Maybe. Hello. Go down. Thank you. Maybe this is like very tedious and you've never done one of these before. But once you get going on it, then you'll find that it really is quite simple. And I will tell you too, if you get stuck on the process here, you can always pop over to YouTube. They do have, Creative Grids has a YouTube page that shows you how to use all of their tools. So, and you might have other Creative Grids rulers that you've never used because you're afraid of them, which I understand because rulers can be really intimidating. However, there is help out there as far as like videos. So we're going to do round 4, what, pardon me, you all can't see. So round 4, we're going to line this up, okay, and then we're going to just cut. Helps if you move that out of the way. All right, there goes those bits. Again, we're only just cutting the one side right now. We will square this all up when we're done. So that was round 4. Okay, so it should look like this at this point. You don't have to look at what size are you getting after trimming the rounds. So she has you keeping your strips to 1 1/4 wide. I don't think you're trimming at that point. I think that you're already at those sizes. I think at that point you're just making everything squared off. So you would actually be taking a ruler and just squaring off those edges. I haven't done it the other way, so you might have to do a practice run if you're not using the tool and see what happens. But basically you are squaring up. Okay. I never do them because they'll always get, now I know how to fix that. Okay. Tool for the log cabin is the way to go. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So this should be 5 and this should be 6. Right. So again, we're going to lay this up here and lay this down. And so that seam, and you should make sure that your needle is sharp and new, and if you've sewn 30 projects on the same needle, now is definitely the time to change that needle out. I'm using a Schmetz 8012 chrome needle. They are relatively new on the market, but I really like them because they just kind of glide through everything. So we do have them for sale in the store. You would just have to search chrome and you'll find the chrome needle. Again, I'm just finger pressing this in. So that is, oh, I am going to have to cut because I obviously put the wrong thing. Okay, not a big deal. Try not to panic. And we're going to set this up on here. We just finger press and sew, finger press and sew. And then, so yeah, make sure that your machines are clean, that you have a fresh needle. If you hear a loud thunking sound while you're sewing, your needle's dull. Make sure you take off your throat plate, get in there with a brush, clean all that out. Most of the repairs we see are because of lint buildup in the machines. So if it has been a while since you've taken off your throat plate, now is probably the time, well, not now because you're in class, but however, make sure you're cleaning. What size is the wool mat? This one I am working on is the, oh, what is this? I think this is the 24 by 17. Yes, this is the 24. I have one in the shop here. 17 by 24, and then we also have them in 13.5-inch squares. So if you need one like to sit off to the right-hand side or your left-hand side of your sewing machine, we have them in the shop as well. So you would just type in wool, and you'll see the mats that we have available. What is wrong with me today? Hello, can you press that seam properly? Okay, so there's that. See, I have the exact same like issues you have. Like things don't always press the way I want to. Needles break, thread breaks. There's all sorts of things. And I am pressing, if you notice, to one side. The instructions for this have us pressing one direction. You can open those seams up if you choose to. It's not wrong. If you're more comfortable doing that way, do it that way. Okay? Okay, so now that we are on our 5th round, and I'm probably going to have to cut a strip of the dark because I used the wrong strip. But that's okay. This is why we have extras. Okay. Oh well. It's a rainy day here in north of Pittsburgh. It is. We don't want to use that. We had a little bit of like an ice storm last night. We had like a 1/4 inch of ice, which is always scary because that's when like power lines and trees start doing crazy things. However, it is now just kind of a rainy afternoon, so, which is typical for us. We don't get like, we're not allowed to have sunshine here. It's just a rule. If the greater good says sunshine, Pittsburgh, no, that's not happening. So No sunshine for us today, but it is what it is. We quilt so that we don't have to feel bad about the weather. All right, so this is going to go up on here. Now you might be thinking to yourself, this is a great little mug rug. What am I going to do with it? Well, here's my ideas. One, you could use it for yourself, which is always cool. Two, you can make several of these and pop them in the mail. Send them out to friends. There's a lot of people that are shut in right now. They're home. This would really brighten somebody's day. And as far as like mailing weight is concerned, you could send this. This is probably like 3 or 4, maybe 5 ounces. It's not even heavy. And you could pop this into just like a manila envelope that you would get from a big box retail. And, you know, put a little bow around it, put it in maybe some tissue or whatever. Write a cute little note and send that off to a buddy. And somebody that, you know, maybe needs their day brightened. So you're not limited to just making one of these because, I mean, we're making one in class. However, you can make up a whole slew of these in no time and send them out to 5 or 6 friends. And if you just don't have somebody that you know that would appreciate one, but you just really want to brighten somebody's day, get with me. I know lots of people right now that are shut in either due to illness or they're elderly and they're afraid to go out, and they could just really use a bright spot in their day. So, you know, go through your list of friends or family members, find out, you know, and here's the thing, you know, it's one of those things where you make this massive quilt and whoever you give it to might not appreciate it, so you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't make them a massive quilt. It's a mug rug. If they don't like it, are your feelings really going to get hurt over a mug rug? Probably not. Probably you are of the caliber of person that sits there and goes, it was a mug rug. My heart was in the right place. They don't like it. I did still the right thing, and I tried to brighten their day, and if they don't appreciate it, oh well. So, you know, don't get all hung up on feelings. Just, you know, just kind of do your best every day with, you know, trying to be a bright spot in people's lives. That's kind of the goal here. And, you know, make one and see if you want to give it away. Maybe you have a grandchild or something that would appreciate something like this. You know, maybe you have a granddaughter or maybe even a grandson that they want to get into quilting and they're not sure or whatever. This might be a good project to introduce them to. Just kind of like, hey, look what I made you. And that might spark that whole creative bug. So we're north of Pittsburgh. Kathleen, I am in this tiny little dinky town called Sarver, and it's just south of Butler. So if you're familiar or anything with the Pittsburgh area, I'm just south of the Butler by about 20 minutes. So not a very big town. We do have 2 gas stations and a movie theater, so we are legitimate as a town. And I will tell you, we have one of the best Chinese food restaurants and pizza places like anywhere. So if you're ever up this way, I highly recommend stopping in town, because they do have good restaurants. Go figure. All right, so at this point, we have trimmed all of our 6 rounds, okay? We have trimmed out from this corner all the way. Great, so now we have this little 6-inch block. At this point, I'm going to leave that set, and now I'm going to turn so that I can trim. So I'm going to turn it so that I can trim these other sides that are not... which one of these is not like the other? So all the sides are going to get trimmed now, and that completes the portion of making the 6-inch block. Okay, we're just going to make sure that whole thing is nice and square and pretty, right? So yeah, so maybe you pop it in the mail, and don't let the post office talk you into priority shipping. These don't weigh that much. They are not priority weight. Priority weight, for those of you that might not know, is a pound. And these are certainly not going to be a pound when you're done, because they're not. Just first time expire to log cabin pattern. Oh, that's hilarious. Exposed, yes. I live in Cranberry and worked in Zealand until I retired to South Carolina. Oh, very good. So you're familiar. You know where I'm at. All right, so we have made our awesome block. We are done with our trim tool. How cool was that? Made a block in no time. What are we, 30 minutes in? Oh, we're like 45 minutes in. It's because it takes me a little bit to work through things. All right, page 2. So now we are going to take our other 2 rectangles. Let me get my bits out of the way. We're going to take our other 2 rectangles, Okay, and we're going to sew the dark to the dark side. Okay, don't mess this part up. It's going to look funky if you don't. Sew the dark to the dark side, and then you're going to sew the light to the light side. So it says in the directions, sew it to the side with the seams to make it easier for turning later. So we're going to lay this down and put our right sides together. Again, right sides together. Always an important part of sewing. Batiks really don't have this rule, so if you are like working with batiks today, you will not really have to be paying attention to right and wrong sides, because batiks are dyed. They're just made differently, and you won't have to worry about that. If you are using batiks, this chrome needle is perfect for you because it pushes through those dyes. You don't have a regular needle doesn't do as hot as a chrome needle going through batiks. Okay, so we're going to set that seam, and we will press the seam toward the rectangle. Yes, of course. So we're going to press that seam towards the rectangle. That's that away. All right. Press that down. I am going to hit that with some best press. If your fabric feels like it just doesn't have any, if it feels just like it's waving all over the place, hit it with some sizing or best press or whatever you're using. Fabric should feel a little bit stiff. It's not supposed to be like a board, you know, don't like dump half a gallon into that, but it should be stiff. Okay, so now it looks really funky, but we're going to sew the light one to this side, and it's supposed to extend a 1/4 inch beyond the dark to create the seam allowance. So hopefully that's our case, if we've done everything right, and it does. So woohoo for us. So we're going to lay this down, and right sides together. Now at this point, if you need to pin, I highly encourage pinning. Pinning is a good thing. Boy, mine is like barely there, but okay, we're just going to keep going with it. She says a 1/4 inch. Mine's maybe not quite a 1/4 inch, but that's okay. So we're going to sew that down. So yeah, if you are a pin kind of person, for some, you know, that's fine. I'm not pinning. These are just little strips. If I was doing like massively long things, fabric tends to walk all over the place. It's supposed to. It's fabric. It's not a board. Okay. Hopefully I did that right. Oh, that's close enough. Okay, so it should be up there a little further, and mine is not up there a little further, so that's all right. We're going to see what happens. I could move it to create the seam allowance. Well, it's in there, but it's not in there. So, what do I want to do here? Problem solving while live. If I don't do that, it's going to probably... Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to unsew. And we're going to move that up just a hair, because it really should... What's going on is it's supposed to be over there just a little bit, and hopefully yours lapped over correctly. Mine, however, did not. So there could be a lot of reasons for this. It could be the fact that my 6-inch block is just slightly off. Hopefully it's not, but that's probably what's going on. But because we're live and we're supposed to be doing everything the right way, we're going to unsew. And okay, if you have not done this before, don't do this today. This is just a method of using your rotary blade to take out a seam, and it's dangerous, but it's fast. So if you have experience doing that, great, but if not, like, just be careful. All I'm doing is just shaving those, so I don't have to sit here and pick out like a million seams right now. I should show you guys my, I don't have it out here. Yeah, because I didn't think I'd be unsewing my awesome seam ripper, because it has this like rubber dauber at the end. Where do I have one nearby? No, of course not. It's probably on the other side of the room. Anyway, basically what happens is you take out your seam allowance, and the little rubber dauber pulls all the strings out. It's really awesome, because that way you don't have to sit here and like pick this for 20 minutes. So yeah, so we're just gonna take that out of there, and we're gonna reset that seam. So I probably am gonna just pin it in and then make sure that it goes down. So let me grab my pin bowl, which is right behind me, hopefully. Or it's not. It's on the other side of the room. Okay. I have a needle, but that's not going to work. All right, we're not going to do it that way. We try. Note to self, next week's class, pin bowl. What I'm going to do, because the fabric obviously is not playing well with others, I'm going to set this on top. I'm going to start it a 1/4 inch into that whole area, and then I'm going to meld that down into that corner. So that's basically how I'm going to fix our little issue, because I do need to have a seam allowance there. Again, a lot of times it's just things walking and not playing well with others. So we're going to make it play because we can. Okay, so we're going to sew that down. No big deal. Hopefully yours worked. Comment in the comments if yours did work, because, you know, it's not a perfect world, and probably for you it did. Just for me it didn't. Okay, and we're going to make that go. All right. Can you print the directions? Yes, you can print the directions. Thank you for Denise letting her know that, yes. And, or, yes. Oh, that's actually us commenting. Leah's commenting. Okay. So now we have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Nothing worse than pokies. Yes, you can print it. It's a PDF, so you can print it off. Okay. So now we have our seam allowance into the corner like it's supposed to be. And this is where we go into the next part. And we take our freezer paper. Okay, so this is our freezer paper. Freezer paper, if you're unfamiliar with freezer paper, you can pick it up at the grocery store. It's pretty inexpensive. And there's a shiny side and a matte side. The shiny side can be ironed, and maybe you are new and you don't realize that, but it can, and it's pretty cool. And we actually end up using freezer paper in a lot of different applications. So today we're going to be using it for our hearts. So you're supposed to trace your 2 heart curves onto the matte side of the freezer paper, which I've already done. And then we're going to press the shiny side of the freezer paper on the wrong side of the rectangle. So we're going to flip these over, okay, and we're going to press that on there. But first I have to cut this out. So I'm using my Haren K Buckley applique scissors for this process for a couple of different reasons. One, they're super sharp. If you do any kind of applique work and you aren't using sharp scissors, your applique work's probably very frustrating for you. These are super duper lightweight, and all the way to the tip, these things have a massive, like, sharp edge. You have to be careful with them because you could end up like snipping your fingers. But I like them because they're lightweight, and after too many years of quilting and sewing, we won't talk about how many years, but lots, hands aren't what they used to be. So nice lightweight. So here's my shiny side and my matte side. So we used our scissors, and at this point we are going to lay we're going to lay that into this here. And from what I understand the instructions, the corner should touch at the center of the heart and the end a 1/4 inch from the outside. So that's what it's doing. So I'm going to on the wrong side of the rectangles, yes. So we're going to, these are going to come out, okay, but right now they're just, it's a template. So, and from what I remember doing this has been like a year since I've done this. You should be over the seam allowance, I believe, is how we do that. So we're going to go like this. We're going to hit that with the iron and stick that down. We're a 1/4 inch from each edge. If you're not quite sure what a 1/4 inch should look like, grab your handy dandy ruler that you are using today and make sure that you measure that in. It should be a 1/4 inch, okay? So close-ups, 1/4 inch there on the edge, and open up, 1/4 inch, okay? So make sure that you're there, and then going to do the same thing the other side. You're going to put that right into those corners. Alrighty. Now we're doing that because these are templates and we're going to be cutting them, but first we have to finish up with the next part. So we're going to take our 10-inch square, which I haven't actually, our dark one. Okay, so we're on step 4 now. So we're going to place the half log cabin unit on the remaining dark value square right sides together. So there's my other square. We're going to put this down like that. Okay, and then we're going to put them on top of our batting square. Now, I'm going to back up for a second and show you a different way, just because it's me and I don't like things moving. This is my fusible batting, okay, from Quilter's Dream. I'm actually going to iron that down because I don't want things shifting. So if you have fusible batting, use it. So I'm going to just, again, I'm pressing this on. Okay, pressing, pressing, pressing. Doing it like that. Press, press, press. No ironing. And then I'm going to put my block down. Okay. And it probably is going to overlap a little bit. That's okay because we're getting rid of all this section here. And then we're going to sew around the outside edges even with the template, leaving a 4-inch seam allowance. So the 4-inch seam allowance is going to be from ruler, 4-inch seam allowance. I'm going to leave an opening from like here to here. So in order to do this though, I need to pin, and my pins are on the other side of the room. So hold on one second. We're going to go to the other side of the room, but I have to unmic. So don't leave. Don't leave. We're getting our pins. Don't leave. We're still here. Okay. We're back. Sorry about that. Okay. Grabbing pins. Getting them out of the package. Do you ever have one of those days where like things just kind of fight you? Ugh. Come out of the package. Come out. Okay. Whew. Good grief. All right. Magnetic pin bowl. Cool thing. Cut my finger. That's great. All right. So here we go. We're going to pin this down because we want to make sure that nothing moves. Fabric is not wood and it moves. That's just kind of what it does. So I'm just going to pin in place all of our whole thing here. Okay, hopefully you're following along okay. Did you sew those big squares the wrong side? I thought the 2-inch square is in the middle. Those big squares the wrong side. The 2-inch square, oh my gosh, I did. Boy, you guys are like really amazing. I did. Okay, we'll peel this back. And we're going to quickly undo this. Yes, I did. I have the lobes going on the wrong side. Thank you, Dana, for being very observant. You guys are like, oh, yeah, class. But here, see, we do things in class. This was a test. We did this to see if you guys were paying attention or not, right? So, yeah, they're all supposed to be on the other side. Again, live sewing. It's good times. So we're going to take this apart really fast. We're going to re-sew it because Dana is amazing and has an eagle eye. And hopefully you didn't make the same mistake. So if you did and you were following along because I said to do it that way, my apologies. Just don't do what I just did. Put them on the right side. It will actually make it look nice then. So maybe you did it right and now you're waiting. Just get something to drink for a second. I'm sorry. Maybe conjure up ideas of who you can send one to as a gift because it's a happy thing and we want to share. A lot of times us quilters, we tend to not keep a lot of what we make. Most of the time it ends up being gifted. It's just kind of our nature, I think. No, I'm not saying that, hey, you keep everything and you're selfish. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of work that goes into what we do. A lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. I'm just saying, though, it seems as though, to me, at least the quilters I know, they tend to make a lot of gifts. So this is just a small token of cheering up somebody in their day. And, you know, especially with people being home. It's winter time. Some people aren't in like sunny Florida or California. They're like in Pittsburgh and they have to deal with the jury. So I love getting mail. I don't know about you. I absolutely love getting a package in the mail. It just kind of makes my day, and I don't think we send enough things. I know it's expensive, but I still don't think we send enough things. I'm going to repress this. So listen, Slow, what have we learned? We have learned that if you have to unsew your seams, you must repress your fabric pieces. They have been altered from the unsewing process, and I'm going to take out those threads. Don't yell. They have been altered from the sewing process, so you must repress. And it will close, a lot of times it will close the holes. Not every time, but most of the time it will. So, good catch. Thank you. Yes. And again, you know, don't assume that everybody else on the planet is a perfect seamstress. I've been sewing a long time, and look, I made an error, but I'm not going to like beat myself up over it. I'm just going to be like, oh, Kimberly, you have blonde hair for a reason. No, I'm kidding. I make mistakes just like everybody. So, but then look at the opportunity we just had. See, we had our lemons. Now we're going to make lemonade, because now I had a chance to show you guys, talk to you guys about having to repress once you've made that mistake, because you have altered the fabric. Once I have like bits going everywhere. This is like crazy. Anyway, so it's very, very important that you repress that and get that set back in and pull out. See, this is why I like that dauber that I don't have in front of me right now, because I wouldn't have to sit here and pick this out. So, yeah, so mail, love getting mail. Packages, unexpected packages are always the best. And again, I do know that with the shipping, what is it, 55 cents, 50 cents to send a doggone, you know, Christmas card to people. You know, it seems like highway robbery. However, I'll bet if we analyze where we spend our money, we could probably find a couple bucks to pop in to the mail one of these cute little Valentine's mug rugs. Again, friends, maybe neighbors that are shut in, and just give them a little bit of sunshine in their day, right? Because we have that ability as quilters to do that for people. Our stuff, whether it looks amazing or not, that's always the thought, our stuff always tends to brighten people's lives. Okay, turning the machine back on. Yes, so let's try and sew this the correct way now. We're going to put this down. Again, we start with the dark, and we're going to re-sew that. And my apologies for making everybody wait for me to do that. Not what I planned. And we're going to sew that down. Yes, go. Now, you might notice that I sew kind of slow for class. I'm trying for accuracy, and maybe you sew really fast. I have friends that can sew really fast. They're amazing. Their machines just like are magic, and they make quilts like gangbusters. However, I'm not a super fast sewer. My stuff does not turn out as well. So if you are a slow quilter or you're new and you're super slow, don't beat yourself up. It's not worth it. It's not a competition. We're not like out there judging people on how fast they can quilt. And if you're in a guild or a club and you're someplace and people are just zooming along, don't let that intimidate you. It's really not worth it. They might have been quilting for like 35 plus years and they just feel comfortable going that speed. But I know that there can be a lot of intimidation when you're quilting with other people. And I'm just here to tell you that if they do care how fast you're going, they shouldn't. And if you care how fast you're going, don't. Because the idea here is to have things turn out nice and not waste our time by worrying about how fast we're going. So take your time. Haha, 1/4 inch over. Gotta set that seam. Okay, we're back on track. No worries here. Hopefully that gave you some time to catch up. So go as fast or slow as you want. If you can go fast and be accurate, great. If you can't, then don't. All right, so back to here. We're going to layer this back up, and oh, we have to put our template. Oh, cool thing about freezer paper, it's reusable. Yay! Oh, love your shirt. Just love the green. Oh, thanks, Dee. I appreciate that. It's an odd thing because I usually don't wear this color, but I was out at the Boscov's with my daughter, and she thought that it would look nice with my complexion, and so I bought it. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Not that I am a fashion conscious person. I just kind of get dressed for the day, and I'm actually very much of a tomboy. So Leah, however, is not a tomboy. She is very much a girly girl, and worries about things like makeup and hair. I do not. So if I have makeup on, it's an accomplishment for the day. Okay, so now we're going to put all this together, and we're going to sew around the edges, and we're going back to pinning. Okay, we're going to pin all that in. Boy, am I glad that, hold on, now I'm all paranoid. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm all paranoid here. We're going to pin all this in, and you may be thinking to yourself, how is it that you, as a tomboy, are quilting? I don't know. It's just it's always, I've been sewing since I was 12 years old, and I just like making things. And it was weird because my mother hated sewing. She had a sewing machine, absolutely hated sewing, but I got to use her sewing machine, so I kind of taught myself a lot of things. Sew around the outside edges, even with the templates, even with the templates, trim the excess fabric within a 1/4 inch of the stitch line. Yes. Okay, so here we go. We're going to sew, and then we're going to sew. Does that make sense? Hopefully you're following along and you're doing okay there. So I'm going, now you might be saying to yourself, Kimberly, why are you not doing like this kind of thing? Because I don't want the fabric walking all over the place. I'm going to sew down here, I'm going to sew down this side, and then I'll deal with the curves. Curves are not our friend so much in sewing, and they tend to make things walk, hence the pins, all right? But if I started here and start sewing, what's going to happen is it's going to start pushing all this, and by the time I get to here, this is going to be all sorts of like wonky, so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to sew down this edge, I'm going to turn and sew down, pardon me, this edge, then I'm going to deal with those curves. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, so here we go. We're going to sew down first seam allowance. Now I'm all paranoid, like, did I read the instructions correctly? Do I have this lined up right? I do. I'm all right. I'm okay. You guys are here with me watching. It's all good. Not nervous. Not worried. Oh, yeah, and I gotta leave that 4.5 inch opening. I'll leave it open on, well, you know what? I could probably leave it open there. Let me see. Do I have 4.5 inches? I do. I'm gonna actually stop there. I'm going to do a locking stitch right there. You can back stitch on your machine, but I'm going to put a locking stitch there. I'm going to eyeball my 4.5. You can mark your 4.5 if you're more comfortable doing it that way. Okay. And then I'm going to go right into that corner. Now, one of the other things that I know, because it's me, is I have to like turn this over and make sure that like I hit all the fabric, and I did. Okay. So I left my opening here, all right? And then at this point, I'm going to sew up this side. I'm going to sew all the way up. Yes, okay. You might be like, why did she stop? I stopped because I was wondering if my stitches were right. But I'm good. Oh yeah, so stitch length. Stitch length on this actually could be like a lot better. You can like do stitch length at like 2.4, 2.8. Don't go into the 3s with your stitch length. You start getting into the basting territory, and that's too long of a stitch length. You're not going to have anything left. And don't go too tiny. Mine actually were set a little too tiny for today, but don't go too tiny because if you have to like rip out like I had to, you're going to be like all afternoon trying to rip out. So, okay, so we did that and that, and then we're going to sew around the template. So at this point, I'm going to bring this in, and I'm not going to sew on the paper. All right, I'm just going to sew just outside of the paper. Okay, so don't, yes, thank you for reminding me to leave the opening. You guys have to watch me like a hawk apparently, because I don't know what I'm doing. So at this point, I'm going to just sew on just on the outside edge of that template. Okay, I don't want to sew on the paper because I want to be able to take the paper away. We're going to talk about clipping curves here in just a second too. So we're coming along. We're trucking. It's doing good things. No worries. All right, you started moving. No more moving. Okay. So we're still trucking along here. All right. Paper lifted. Get back under there. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pivot. So all to do to pivot, notice I didn't lift up the needle. All I did is I lift up the presser foot and I turned. Okay, that's a pivot. That's a legal move in sewing. Okay. And we're going to keep going around this cool curve. Again, I would really encourage you to pin. Fabric moves. It's a fact. And I think that a lot of people skip the pinning process because they don't want to take the time because they think pinning is boring, and it is. I totally get how boring pinning is. But you want to do it. Okay, so we have sewn everything, we left our opening, and now we're going to do our 1/4 inch excess fabric around here. Okay, so again, with my very sharp scissors, I'm going to just start. Now, if you need to measure 1/4 inch because you're brand new, that's okay. You would just sit there and find a 1/4 inch on your ruler, maybe make a little mark with a pencil, and just go around and do the 1/4 inch. If you are confident to do a 1/4 inch without marking, that's fine too. But I know some of you guys are like really brand new, and you might not know how exactly far of a 1/4 inch is away from your seam. You will learn it the more sewing you do, but don't just not mark it. If you're new, mark it. Okay, so we're going to at this point. I have these curves, and one of the things that you want to definitely learn about when you're dealing with curves and sewing is that when you go to flip things, if you don't kind of snip out these curves, they don't lay as nicely. Now, it doesn't say to do this in the instructions, but this just comes from just doing things for years. So basically, I'm going to take my really sharp tips, because I like having really sharp tips, and I'm just going to take them and snip those curves right around. I'm not cutting into the seam. Am I doing this too fast? Are you guys okay? Okay. So I'm not going to hit the seam allowance at all. I'm just going to kind of give them a little snippy, because what that does is that allows them to relax when I flip this outward. So, okay, so these are going to relax. I'm also going to, before I flip this, I'm also going to set those seams, because that thread needs to shrink in line with what I just did. So make sure you don't forget to set seams. You will not see in instructions the word set the seams unless it's a quilter that is very, very poignant about their instructions. Most of the time you won't see the word set your seams. It's just not something you find in instructions. However, it is a necessity. So at this point I'm going to unpin, and then I'm going to take off my paper. Okay, pull that template off. And look at that. We can use it again. How cool. And then you go over there. I'm going to set the seam, and then we're going to flip it. Okay? Okay. I made a smaller version of the heart part of class. Stitched it down. I wish I could send you a picture because it turned out. Well, Dana, share the picture. Yeah, we want to see what you did. Yeah, anytime you guys make things from class, definitely go back and post them in the video, like in the comments section, because that encourages other people, and then we get to see how cool your fabric choices are, because our fabric choices aren't going to be the same as your fabric choices. And I'm nosy. I love seeing what other people come up with, because I think that a lot of people have a lot of talent with their fabrics choices, and it's it's a big world, so why not watch and see like how everybody does it. And the cool thing is my quilters know that they're not allowed to judge yours. And you know what, I forgot to snip that. Okay, other note, forgot to snip something kind of important here. I'm gonna flip it back. Yeah, so we're not allowed to like make rude comments to you, so feel free to. Okay, so right where these two came together, I'm going to make a snip right into that corner, and that opens that up, okay? So that when I go back out here and turn it, it actually lays, okay? Otherwise, it just kind of pulls against that and it won't lay as nicely. So yeah, so nobody gets to be mean on our page, because I'll just take off their comments for being mean. But you know what? My group of like ladies that comment, they're so nice. I have like the nicest quilters that share pictures and talk and help each other. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. And okay, look how beautiful this curve is coming in. Like, how amazing is that? So we just keep rolling that out, and we're going to have this awesome, beautiful curve. Okay, again, that's because we snipped out that curve. Okay, you're not going to get that if you don't take that moment. Look how beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, it's coming together here. So we're going to take, now we've rolled out that whole thing. All right, rolled it all out. Hey, it looks like the picture. That's always a good day. Okay, we're going to push out that corner down here. Okay, and I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to show you how to close it. Where are we at on time? Oh, we got cool. Oh, we are doing so good on time. I can show you all my like little sample things to encourage you. So we're going to press this all out nicely. I'm not going to leave you hanging on the opening, because a lot of people don't know how to do a blind stitch, and this is really important kind of stuff. So definitely hang in there with me, because I'm going to show you now. Ha! I didn't lose the needle. I got the sewing needle, hand sewing needle, and this is the part where we don't cheat and take it over the sewing machine and do a top stitch. We don't do that because that would be ugly. And you all can learn how to do this because you all are very smart people, and this is not difficult. So here's what I'm doing, okay? I'm going to take with my iron, and I'm going to press this little tiny seam allowance. This is a very annoying thing, and I'm going to hit with the best press so that my hands aren't slipping all over the place. I'm going to fold that in, and then I'm taking that, and I'm using the natural fold from the seam allowance, and I'm going to marry them up, and I'm going to hit it with the iron. Okay, so hang in there. Don't leave at this process, and don't top stitch this because you want it to look nice. Okay, remember we might be sending these out to loved ones or buddies, and we want it to look really good. So take the extra minute or two. Okay, don't bail, because you're gonna be like, oh, I can just top stitch that. No, don't do that. All right, so for class purposes, I'm gonna show you this in pink thread. You should probably be doing this in white thread so that you don't see this step, but I'm gonna do it in pink because I love you and I want you to actually learn this because it's really cool. All right, so I just took some of the pink thread off the sewing machine. All right, we're going to thread our needle. This is just an embroidery needle. It has a wide eye. I don't feel like going blind, so I have a wide eye. Oops, wide eye needle. All right. I'm not going to double this. There's no point in doubling this. I'm not making a pillow where I have to really tug this closed. We will do a pillow. I think a pillow class would be great. So I'm just going to, little knot. Oops, little knot. Okay. And all right, so we're going to do a blind stitch here. So this is how we do this. I'm going to try and keep my hands out of the way. All right, so stay with me here. Really easy part. I'm going to take, and I'm going to go down inside there, and I'm going to come up right into that fold on the pink side. Okay, now remember, you're going to do this with white thread. You're not going to be like me and do it with pink thread. You're going to do it with white thread. All right, so I hid the knot inside of there, okay? And I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put it into the fold of the white. Right, go in there. Go in there. Thank you. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to run that along there. Okay, see needle? It's there. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to go back into the fold of the pink, right into that. And then what's going to happen is as I sew this down, I'm going to start pulling it, and it's going to hide those stitches. All right, this is how professionals in like home dec world, this is how we close our pillows a lot of the time. We blind hem stitch those pillows closed. If usually in home dec, interior designers don't want you changing out your pillow covers, so we don't make pillow covers that are removable. We very rarely do we put a zip. You'll get a zipper from like a retail store, like, oh look, you can wash your pillow covering, and that's cool. But interior designers don't do that, and they don't do that for a reason, because they want you to have to go back and buy pillows in a few years. So we hand close like everything in home dec world. Oh, I have ways to go here. So because typically what happens if you ever wash a home dec material, not quilting material, but like a home dec material, once you wash that, the sizing and everything comes out of it, and all of a sudden your pillows start getting dirtier and dirtier really fast, and you're like, why are my pillows so dirty? It's like right now, because they weren't dirty for like 3 years. Well, it's because all that came out, all that protective stuff came out of there. There's a lot of like protective sizings and stuff in those in the home dec material. So we hand close in custom work, and you have to buy new pillows in. But the point is this is how we hand close, and we're hiding that whole seam. See, you can't see the stitches, and you have like this awesome thing. So then we get to the end. All right, I'm gonna make a knot. All right, you still with me here? And I'm gonna try to show you how to make the knot, but it's like really hard to do off the table. But the point is I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna make a loop, and I'm gonna bring the needle up through the loop, and I'm gonna take my other finger and I'm gonna push that down and lock that in there. And probably because it's me, I'll do it twice, because that's how I do things. And then I have this tiny little knot, and I'm gonna go back in here with the needle, and I'm just going to pull that knot into that seam. Okay, like that. Okay, no more knot. You can't see anything. And voila, you have now a perfect, yes, I will say the word perfect, Valentine's mug rug. How cool is that? Minus the thread, right? Because we don't want thread there. And if it wasn't for all my awesome people in class, you can use Stitch Witcher's iron to close. Yes, Dolores, thank you for the cheating method. I absolutely approve that. I think that is fine if you want to use Stitch Witchers. Okay. So now you have to just come up with a whole bunch of people that you want to give these to and send them out, because Valentine's is like a couple weeks away and you have time. Look how beautiful. Are you guys happy? I hope you're happy. Definitely comment. Dolores says that very nice. Yes, thank you. So even with our faux pas in the middle of things, it still came out really nice. Now I'm going to spend a couple minutes going over. So don't leave yet, because I want to show you some things. No, hold on one second. I gotta get rid of this mess on the table because it's driving me bonkers. All right. So today in class. Okay, one more time. Look how amazing. Okay, so this is what we used today in class. We used the 6-inch log cabin trim tool, and you can see the size that came out, right? Let me show you the other sizes for the other trim tools, because maybe you have been way inspired and want to make a whole bunch of other things. So let's start with, we'll go from smallest to biggest. All right, let me pull this over here. Okay, so this is the same type of log cabin design we did today. However, this is done with the 4-inch log cabin trim tool. And I'm going to put up sheets here in a second so that you guys can like maybe buy a couple of these things if you want to. So this is the 4-inch. Okay, how cute is that? This is the 4-inch log cabin trim tool. How cute is that, right? It's little, it's tiny. Okay, great blocks. Then this is the 8-inch log cabin trim tool. And I did courthouse steps in this one. So here's my courthouse steps in the 8-inch log cabin trim tool. All right. Then this is the one I was talking about earlier. This is the 12-inch log cabin. That's falling. Okay, 12-inch log cabin. Now the 12-inch log cabin trim tool, cool thing about this, it does the 12, but it also does the 6 like we did in class today. So you're actually getting two trim tools in the bigger one. So you can do all 3 types of log cabins still with the bigger one, but you can also do the 6-inch. So again, this is that block I was telling you where you could literally make it in 7 minutes if you're just doing one single block. It's just really easy. So that gives you some ideas as the different trim tools. Maybe you have them already in your arsenal at home, and now you have a lot more confidence in using them. So let's go over a couple things that I showed in class today. Maybe you would like to get some of these things. I do have a coupon that you can use at checkout so that you can, you know, I like to give away things. It's kind of fun. So, oh, and I have a sharing award. Did you guys share? Hopefully you guys shared because I got to pick out a sharing award. Okay, so write this down. This is important. Okay, this is your code for your saving 10% off for anything you buy in the store today. Excludes block of the month. We're not doing 10% off on block of the month. So here are the different things. So you're going to comment the word sold if you are interested in getting the Karen K. Buckley scissors, and you're going to comment the word sold and then the word buck. Okay, that will put that into your cart for you. All right, so those are the Karen K. Buckley scissors we used in class. The next thing we used was the mini Stripology ruler, and you're going to comment the word sold and strip if you're interested in that. Okay, so that is the mini Stripology ruler, and by using that heart code, you're actually saving 10% on that. So you're getting it for less than retail. I also showed my stork scissors. We didn't use them a whole lot in class today, but if you need a pair of little tiny stork scissors that have somehow left my table, oh, here they are. Now, stork scissors, okay, storks. If you need a little pair of scissors to sit next to your sewing machine to clip strings and stuff like that, you're going to comment the word stork. Okay, how cool. Move, okay, over there. Then, again, I use the Quilter's Dream Fusible Table Runner batting. We sell it by the yard. It's 24 inches wide by 36 per yard. So you're going to comment sold fuse. And then if you want 1 yard, you don't have to say anything else. But if you want 2 yards, you write 2 or 3 afterwards. If you want 3 yards, it's $4.99 a yard. It's a really good price for a fusible table runner batting. So if you do a lot of table runners or you plan to make like a whole bunch of mug rugs, that's a great batting to use. The next thing, oh, I forgot to show you the book. Okay, here is Penny Haren's book, okay, and this is the book that uses the 6-inch log cabin trim tool that we used in class, and it explains in there how to do strip piecing so that you can make a whole bunch of these in one fell swoop. You don't have to sit there and make individual blocks at a time. Her instructions do all 3 types of log cabins, and then, drum roll, she has quilts. She has these beautiful quilts that she has made and gives you the instructions on how to make them. There's even like a mini quilt. We should do that for our class. Wouldn't that be fun? I think we will. Okay, so forward here, there's a little table topper. So if you have been inspired, you can purchase the book. I'm going to put it up in just a second. I want to keep showing you the cool pictures because look how gorgeous. That is a larger quilt. It's 69 by 89. But, you know, again, you're not making one at a time. Hey, there's a pillow. So you guys can make a pillow. Look how beautiful that is. That's a table topper. So that you could really like make that table topper in probably an afternoon. So if you're interested in Penny Haren's book, which I highly recommend, you're going to comment sold Penny right there. All right. And don't forget your coupon at checkout is heart. Now, if you would like to pick up a log cabin trim tool, you're going to comment the word, the 6-inch log cabin trim tool is, you're going to comment sold 6, okay, S-I-X, just like that. That's for the 6-inch. That's the one we used in class today. If you would like the 12 and 6, which is the biggest one I had, it will do 2 sizes. You're going to comment sold logs. Okay, that's the biggest one. If you like the mini one that is really stinking cute, you're going to comment sold 4. And then if you want to do the 8-inch, which we did not use in class today, but it makes a really nice 8-inch block, you're going to comment sold 8. So those are the trim tools that we used. And then here's your code for coupon at checkout. You're going to comment sold, or not comment sold, don't comment sold heart. This is your coupon code, heart. Okay, use that at checkout today. All right. So definitely get with me if you have questions, comments, concerns. Our next class next week, okay, is the wool mittens class. Now, you might not work in wool. You might be curious about wool. But our class next week, we're going to be making this candle mat. It's called Amy's Mittens. And I do have kits available if you want to get a kit and join me for class. Definitely email me so I can get it sent out like today or tomorrow. I think the kits are $18. That includes the pattern. So we'll be back here next Tuesday to do Amy's Mittens. And then the following week, we're going to do our vinyl project keeper bag, which is really fun and easy. And if you've never worked in vinyl before, definitely join me for that class because It takes all the scary away from vinyl. I know vinyl seems like this big scary thing, but we're going to take away all that fear, and you're going to have this amazing project bag. So, so I'm trying to get you guys into elements maybe you're not used to working with. Maybe you're not used to working with wool, or maybe you're not used to working with vinyl. I want to try and get you guys comfortable doing those things. And then I will be putting up more classes. I'm just finalizing them right now. So every Tuesday we will have a class here at 1 o'clock. Mark it on your calendar, put a little reminder in there. And then definitely join me Friday night. We have a whole bunch of cool things that we're going to be sharing with you. Friday night is our live fabric show. So I did create an event on the Facebook page here. So if you click going on that event for Friday night's live show, you'll get a notification. And again, if you want to be on my email list, because it's fun to get an email with like a cool recipe and some things, make sure that you are definitely like going to email me and just type in the word comment line subscribe, and I'll put you on the newsletter. So we haven't sent out this week's newsletter yet. I don't send it out on Tuesdays because Tuesdays is my class day and I got to like get through class. Yeah. Jennifer, just type in penny. You don't have to even say the word book. It might not put that in your cart that way. It might, but it might not. So just make sure, Jennifer, that you just comment penny, like sold and then penny. All right. So if you have questions, please, we still have a little bit of time. So please ask me. I'm looking at the comment screen now. I'm here to answer questions. Maybe you don't understand something I did in class and you're like, Kimberly, can you show that to me again? Absolutely. I would love to make sure that you are confident in your sewing. That's why we do these things. We did a lot of classes when I had my brick and mortar, and our goal is to always make sure that you are not frustrated and that you are happy. Well, I can't make you happy, but I can try and help with happy things like sewing seams. So if you oh, and we got to do our share award too, because I forgot. So I have, okay, so on Friday nights, we give away 2 $75 store credits for our share award. So if you would like to have $75 from me, definitely show up like Friday night, because we do sharing awards Friday nights as well. I thought it'd be fun today to do a sharing award because you guys are so awesome, and I love having you with me on Tuesday afternoons. So all right, let me turn on the mouse. Mouse needs to work. All right, let me go back up through here, find out, because I know you guys shared. Okay, Rhonda Ussery, hopefully I said that correctly. Rhonda, if you're still here, you have won a $10 gift certificate, a store credit to my store, and I'm writing down your name so I don't forget. When I go off the air today, I will put that into your cart. So Rhonda, you'll get an email too that you got a $10 in your cart. Okay, so Jane, if you would just email me, I'll type it in. Hold on. I'm going to comment my email. That way you guys can just copy and paste. gmail.com. Okay, so I just commented my email. Shoot me an email. Just write the word subscribe, and I'll put you into the newsletter. Okay? Nancy, I don't know if it will let you do that all in one line, so you might have to do that 3 different times. So, Judy, you are welcome for the class. I had fun. I hope you guys had fun too. I hope you guys learned how to do cool things. Oh yeah, shipping. Shipping's $5, unless you spend $75 and then it's free. I guess I should tell you those kinds of things. But yeah, so okay, we're gonna turn off the. Well, that's just the shop cam. You can see all my Valentine things that are in the back there. We do have fabric on the way, so it's been held up in the. Lori, you're gonna say comment. You're gonna say sold and then the word mini. Okay, so we do have fabric on the way. It's stuck at the docks apparently. I was talking to my rep yesterday. Get this, they have the fabric sitting at the docks, but they can't get it offloaded the docks into the shipping containers. So all our fabric is sitting at the docks in like California and places. So yeah, cool things. So meanwhile, we're gonna do other things to like help you guys enjoy your sewing time and your quilting time. Does your VP group cost anything? Sandra, it is free. So my VP group is absolutely free. If you want to join my VIP group, you were just going to click on the group or shoot me an email that you want to be in my group, and I'll make sure that you can do that. Okay, so where do you go to order? So basically, Susan, what you're going to do is type the word register. You're going to get a notification then that you need to confirm. And then at that point, you can comment the word sold, and buy the different things from class. The other thing you can do is I do have my link pinned over to my comment sold page. You can always click on that and go into there and shop there as well. I made the project bag with the vinyl. It was a little scary, but it turned out to be so easy. Yeah, see, Sue, isn't that amazing? But that is why we do these things, so that you feel confident. I'm glad you reached out on your own and did it, and I applaud you for your bravery. I think it's great to be brave. So, and what Sue's talking about is the pattern bag. Hold on, I think I have. Okay, phone is not ringing. We don't have a ringing phone. And, hold on. I'm trying to put up the project bag. Okay, there's the project bag. So that is the project bag that will be sewing February 9th. So if you are new, like I said, with that, and why is it that you guys can't see my, there it is. If you guys have never worked in vinyl, this is really, really an easy class, simple to do. I do sell the vinyl in the store. I usually kit it with a colored zipper. So we're going to put those up for Friday night for sure as kits. So I just need to inventory to see what color zippers I still have. But that is the vinyl class that's coming up. And then this is the mittens class. So if you want to do, you can just sit and join me for the mittens class. Maybe you just like watching classes. That's cool too. Okay, so any other, oh, Susan, very good. So now you can go through and comment, you know, like if you wanted the scissors, you would say sold and then the word like buck, okay? You can, that way you can shop, or you could just go into the store and shop. It's that simple. And again, our shipping is $5, and if you have a $75 order, you're gonna get it shipped for free. So, all right, I think we're good. I don't think, I'd like for a bag for tobacco. Find a pattern for a bag for tobacco. Really? Okay, Nancy, that's interesting. What are you doing with the tobacco? Okay, I really need to know now, because this is, hopefully you weren't like trying to say like potato and it auto-corrected. If you're looking for a pattern, yeah, what are the name of the scissors? Okay, so the scissors here, let me put this back up. 1 second. You know what? Maybe I should just go through, since we have time. All right, I'm going to go through them again. All right, so here are the scissors. Okay, awesome, awesome scissors by Karen K. Buckley. If for some reason they get waitlisted, do not let that concern you. They might get waitlisted. All waitlist means is that we are ordering more, or and that's okay because we get our stuff relatively quickly. So, okay, there's the Stripology ruler. That's strip. Okay. All right, hold on. She commented. I have to see what she really meant to. She really meant tobacco. Okay. A tobacco bag? Okay. Like, maybe you could keep it in the vinyl. I don't know what that would do to the tobacco. I don't know. Okay, so that's for the fusible. That was the batting that we used. This is the book. Penny. Okay. So you just come and sold penny. And then again, we'll run through the rulers. The 6-inch is what we used in class. So you're going to come out and sold 6. Okay. Logs is the 12-6. Logs is probably going to get waitlisted because I think we're going to have to reorder some of those. So don't let that deter you. You're going to get your stuff. We always make sure we wouldn't advertise it if we couldn't get it. 4 for the 4-inch. That's the little mini one. That was very cute. And then the 8 is the 8-inch log cabin. Okay. All right, let's see if there's any other, like a pouch. Oh, you mean like where it flap over. Yeah, that is interesting. Nancy, I am thinking, because I understand what you're saying, because I have seen tobacco pouches before. I'm wondering if it's almost one of those things where it would be like a roll-up kind of pouch where you would stuff the tobacco into like a zippered area, and then you could roll it or have a flap. So that'd be something to definitely like Google, I guess. So interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys get back to your Tuesday afternoon. This video will stay up for forever and ever. I'm going to put it over onto YouTube as well. As I was, Aaliyah's commenting. Okay. if you guys are YouTube fans, please go over to our YouTube page and subscribe. I'm really close to getting to 1,000 subscribers, which is really exciting then, because then at that point, like, I get monetized, and then YouTube actually promotes my stuff, and then like I have more people doing classes with me, which is always fun. So Nancy, I wonder what kind of plastic. I'm thinking it's just a vinyl would work for tobacco to keep it protected, because you don't want it getting wet or absorbing moisture. But I really don't know. Nancy got her Kim deal. You are very welcome. Isn't that like the most gorgeous fabric line ever? Jeanette, you got your ruler. You're very welcome. Thank you. Yeah, so Kim Deal stuff is amazing. She really just knocked it out of the park. We're talking about Kim Deal. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to let you guys get on with your day. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And if you have any trouble with anything, let me know. I hope you enjoyed making our mug rug. And I will see you back here I'll see you Friday for our live fabric show. Make sure that you click on interested or going so that you can join in the fun Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we'll be back here next Tuesday to work on some wool. And join us, even if you have never worked on wool before. Just definitely join us. Maybe it'll take fear away from like wool, and we'll talk about all things and flannel, because a lot of people don't realize that we can do a lot of things with flannel and wool at the same time. So thank you again for joining me. You guys can keep shopping. I'm just going to, it's the word 6 Patricia has to be spelled out as 6, S-I-X. Sorry. Thank you all. I appreciate you joining me for this afternoon. Hopefully your project came out really well. And Patricia, make sure you type out the word 4, because it's supposed to be the actual written word for F-O-U-R. Okay, that way it goes into your cart. Dana, thank you. And again, I appreciate you guys like hanging out with me and watch me make my errors and unsew, because that's part of sewing. And we'll see you again on Friday. So take good care and enjoy the rest of your day. Be a blessing to somebody today, because that's what we're here for. And, you know, maybe send out a couple mug rugs to your buddies. They'll love it. So thanks, everyone, and take care.